Hey everybody, it's Karnak, buddy pal, Star Wars Armada Explained. We're going to be looking at the Rebel officer Ezra Bridger from the Star Wars Rebels TV show. Fantastic show. If you haven't watched it, please do. I think it was a great show. So Ezra Bridger, how do you know he's an officer? Well, at the bottom left-hand corner of his card, you will see the officer icon there. That's where you know he equips to. He is faction specific for the Rebel Alliance, which is next there to his point cost, which is only 3 points. So Ezra, in front of his name, you'll see a little dot or bullet point. Signifies he is unique. You can only have one of him in your fleet. His card reads, when you reveal a command, you may discard this card to move one obstacle at distance 1 to 2, so that it is within distance 1 to 2 of its current location. This essentially gives rebels the ability that the Empire has had a monopoly on for so long to finally move, a obstacle. But granted that you can use this card to move obstacles into the path of ships, maybe move something out of the way. He's got a lot of use. Let's talk about it. So let's go through his timing window real quick. So it says when you reveal a command, meaning that when you're picking up your command dial and you're going to reveal it, you're saying, well, this ship is going to activate. I'm going to get ready to reveal my command dial. And when you reveal your command, that's the timing portion of Ezra, where you then say, I've revealed my command. I am now going to discard this card. And any obstacle, let's say this station, that is at distance 1 to 2 of me, which you can see here, we've got the little bands. The black is distance 1, red is distance 2. So when you're measuring, even if it's only just a teeny tiny little portion that's touching, that still counts. This is at distance 2. And you measure from the physical plastic base of the ship. You don't measure from the shield dials or the shield frames. And you don't measure from the cardboard. Okay, you only measure from the cardboard when conducting attacks. Otherwise, all other measurements, especially when it comes to card abilities, the range is based off of the physical plastic model base to the closest point of wherever you're trying to reach, whether it be another ship or, in this case, an obstacle. Okay, so we revealed the command dial. We've discarded Ezra. We've looked to see if we're at distance 1 to 2 of that station. We are. Now we can move that station to be within distance 1 to 2 of its current location. So what's great about Vassal is if I can make a clone copy of this, and I can still see where the original positioning of that station. So remember, when you pick up the station, it's best to have multiple copies if you can. It just makes things easier. You leave the original station in place, and then you can use your range ruler to kind of guess how far out it can go. I mean, you can rotate it, you can flip it, you can do all sorts of things from it, but it can't go past beyond a distance 2. So it can't do something like that. It has to stay within that red marker area, which is the distance 2. So you can take that station from there, and for example, you could move it. Maybe you want to move it away from the Super Star Destroyer. Maybe you want to move it to help out one of your ships so it can get some healing. So lots of benefits. And one thing I will say is in games like Contested Outpost or Doom Station, so typically, like for example, the Contested Outpost is going to be somewhere like up here. So in which case, if you do have a ship that is, you can't do it on your initial turn, but in the next turn you could take that outpost, and chuck that and pull that away closer to you. Gives you a little bit more leverage. And that's Ezra Bridger. So again, reveal command dial, discard him, check to see if you're in range. If yes, then move that obstacle within distance 2 of its current location. But it's a one-time use only, and then it's done. But hey, for 3 points, you might look at it and be like, well, what possible uses could there be? Well, I showed one with the station. Let's do another example. Let's say that this Super Star Destroyer is wanting to come straight murder your stuff. Well, if the rift was off, like for example over here where it's not being as useful, you can move your GR75 and maybe that can move that rift over closer to the Super Star Destroyer. You see now that's at distance 1 to 2 of the rift, so it's going to slow it down as it tries to move now. Another unique thing about Ezra I want to make sure I'm pointing out And again, not just drifts too. Like, I mean, you could even do like dust clouds. Like, you can move those dust clouds. Like now, haha, you can't shoot anymore. Or again, as I mentioned, moving the stations, or if you want to move like an asteroid in front of them. That's all well said and done. This is a combination I touched on with Sabine's video, but this is something that is absolutely legal, what players have already done. So obstacles, when they are moved as per the Rebellion in the Rim rulebook, any tokens on those obstacles also move with it, whether that be objective tokens, other kinds of tokens, or proximity mine tokens. What some players will do is that they'll place a proximity mine token on an obstacle, such as this. Then they'll activate the ship with Ezra Bridger, and they'll move this obstacle that distance 1 to 2, and then the mine rides along with it. Okay? And if you want more information in detail about how all of that works rules-wise, go watch my Proximity Mines video. It's a half-hour video, but it covers everything. It'll cover all of your questions you have with that. I'm not going to cover it all here. So now, not only is the mine token now obstructed, which makes it harder for that Superstar Destroyer to potentially kill, but now once it moves forward, not only is it taking a face-up damage card from landing on the asteroid, it's now potentially going to take 2 additional face-down damage cards from the proximity mine. So some people, like I said, have used that to great effect, kind of, oh, here's a mine, here you go, or again, moving the rift around or other things. Just he offers more tools in the toolkit, which is kind of the Rebels thing. They like having multiple tools to draw from. But that's Ezra Bridger. There's no other crazy interactions or anything else going on. I will say, though, there is a misconception that has been put out in the community. People are thinking that I can take this asteroid, for example, and I can crash it into ships, and they automatically take face-down damage. And that's absolutely not how that works at all. So the rules in the rulebook are very clear in that the asteroid fields cannot be placed underneath ships when they end their movements, not only for ships, but squadrons, tokens, other things. It all depends on what kind of movement that obstacle is conducting. But by and large, you can place an obstacle touching a ship, which touching is still not overlapping. The ship has to physically overlap the obstacle to receive damage. But you can place it touching it, but again, you can't place it underneath ships. If it is underneath a ship, you can drag it out from underneath a ship. That's fine. But again, you can't crash it into things. You can't put it underneath things because that would be a little bit, make it too powerful for its point cost. And they also would then have to write a lot more rule exceptions, which they didn't want to do, which I don't blame them. It already was pretty intricate with a few things. So again, I want to make sure I was being clear on that. You can't just force push space whales and asteroids into oncoming ships. You could put them in front of them. You can't put them into them, though, so where they just take automatic damage. All right. I think I've covered all that. Of course, if you feel like I missed anything or I got anything wrong, maybe you still have questions, give me a comment, shout out, let me know about it. I do appreciate you guys watching, and hey, I'll catch you all next time.